U.S. Senate last week, the race for the U.S. Senate, that is to replace, to run against Democratic Senator Jeanne Shaheen, there were quite a few endorsements. It's kind of early on for the endorsement game, but to be expected. Scott Brown got most of them, and it's to be expected because Scott Brown is not from New Hampshire, despite what he says. He's had rental property for 20 years. He spent a lot of his summers here. He was actually born in New Hampshire, but he's a former senator from Massachusetts, where he lived for many years until last December. So endorsements become important for a guy like him who's trying to create some kind of street cred for himself in New Hampshire. And what better street cred to get prominent Republicans to support him, such as Senator Kelly Ayotte, the ranking Republican in New Hampshire, as well as former Governors Steve Merrill and Craig Benson. All three endorsed Scott Brown last week in Nashua and should help him in his campaign. But he wasn't the only one to get endorsements. Jim Rubin's got the Republican Liberty Caucus endorsement, which can be significant. The Republican Liberty Caucus really came into power in 2010. Had a lot to do with making Bill O'Brien Speaker of the House that year, who upset, again, an establishment candidate, former House Speaker Gene Chandler, in a Republican caucus by a very small margin. So, got a very devoted following in the Republican Liberty Caucus. Has had a lot to do with electing some of those libertarian-minded Republicans. They like Jim Rubin's. He's moderate on social issues, but those they don't care about. And they can provide some boots on the ground for Rubin's, which he could use certainly in this campaign, because he's probably going to be beat out in fundraising and certainly in name recognition against both Scott Brown and former Senator Bob Smith.